So in Vedic astrology, we use 9 planets, which are Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. We also use 2 non-physical planets. These are shadow planets, Rahu and Ketu, which is Rahu is the north node of the moon and Ketu is the south node of the moon. These are points of intersection in the ecliptic that they don't have a physical body. However, they have quite a significant influence on our lives, to the point that actually Vedic astrology considers them planets. So each planet is called, or graha as it's called in Sanskrit, has a signifies as different aspects of life. It has significations, and we will go through these significations, or karaka as they are called, for each particular planet. Now, it's very important to recognize that in Vedic astrology, grahas are considered living deities. So, because they are not just astronomical body that's out there somewhere, but they actually are considered like conscious living beings that we can pray to, that we can build relationships with, that we can improve the karma with through remedial measures or other mantras chanting, for example, or giving donations to some significations of the planet. So the word graha means to seize or to grasp. So it indicates these planetary forces that are believed to grasp our consciousness and various aspects of our life and manifest in a certain way through our lives. So the first planet that we will be talking about is Surya planet. Surya means sun in Vedic astrology in Sanskrit, and sun, as you know already, rules Leo. Sun represents the soul. It's the Atma Karaka, or significator of the soul. It also shows our vitality, life force, and general health in the body. It is significator of authority, leadership, and government in general. It shows persons' self-confidence and their ego, their fame, reputation, and status during dasha of the sun, or during period of the sun, for example. The person gets accolades, they get recognition, they seek this recognition because this is the time when the sun is prominent in their life. Sun represents a father figure in our chart. It also shows a father and our relationship with the father. It's significator of kings, royalty, people in power, authority, governments. All kind of government structures are related to the sun as well. They show our courage and bravery, heart, and general well-being. When it comes to medical astrology, sun represents the heart. It also represents the bones and the spine. It also shows our success, recognition, power, influence, the daylight and consciousness, integrity and righteousness. So sun is one of the key points in any chart interpretations. In any birth chart, it's one of the focal points. Because it represents the soul, it is very important to study your sun, what sign it is in, what house it's in, what does your soul want. Like if you are asking yourself a question, what is my soul yearning? Why did I reincarnate in this lifetime? And part of the answer will be shown by your sun position. Sun is also a karaka of career. So when we are looking at what is a person's career is, or what they are naturally inclined to do in the outside world, part of the question will be shown by sun as well. So the next planet that we're going to look at is Moon. Moon represents the mind, and Moon as the ruler of the Cancer sign, but it's also one of the main significations of the personality in Vedic astrology chart, because mind is such an important aspect. Pretty much the quality of your mind defines a lot of things in your life, right? Because how the mind is predispositioned is the type of thoughts you are having. The thoughts, they create emotions, which is also related to the moon, and emotions create certain actions, and through actions you create your destiny. But it all starts in the mind. So mind and moon position specifically in the chart is of such a big importance. It represents emotions, feelings, mother figure in our lives, maternal figures, all the things we inherited from our mothers, our nurturing style. If it's a chart of a woman, it's her experience in motherhood, and it's also her caring qualities and how she views motherhood, how she experiences it, and also her experience with her mother as well. And it's in the man's chart. It's the mother type archetype in his psyche, in his consciousness. Moon also shows our home and family life, mental stability, peace of mind, what makes us happy on an everyday basis. It's our imagination and creativity, subconscious mind and intuition, because it's such a intuitive planet that relies on the emotions. Intuition is a big part of it. Public societal relations. Moon is prominent in charts of people who deal with the public, who are popular somehow, or who out and about in the public eye, for example, like creators of all sorts, or influencers sometimes have prominent moon as well. People who deal with public relations or PR as well. Fluctuations and cycles, such as phases of life. Yeah, that's what moon represents in general, but in a personal chart, I think it's more of like comforts and domestic life. It's fluids in the body when it comes to medical astrology, blood and lymph, sleep, mental rest, our ability to kind of accumulate psychic mental power during the sleep, and how well we rest is also going to be shown by strength of the moon. And in case I already have not mentioned it yet, moon rules Cancer. The next planet is Mars, or Mangal, is as it's in Sanskrit name. It's ruler of Aries and Scorpio. So Mars, it represents actions in life, our energy, action, drive, courage, initiative, our ability to go and achieve things, to go get things, aggressive conflict, combativeness, aggression conflicts, combativeness, warriors, soldiers, people in defense. Mars can be prominent in charts of people who are in the army, in police force, or like soldiers, warriors of all types, military. Mars represents strength, physical endurance, stamina. It represents muscles in the body. It also shows the blood, competition, sports, brothers, male siblings, ambition, determination, land or property, real estate. When it comes to real estate, and for example, we judge the ability of the person to have real estate, we'll look at the Mars. Mars, though, more relates to the land itself. Venus represents the buildings of real estate, but it's a topic for another lecture. I'm just explaining the slight difference. When we talk about real estate, we want to see a strong Mars in the chart, for example. Like Donald Trump has Mars in the first house. Mars also shows engineering, mechanics, and technical skills, and can be prominent in people who are dealing with who have technical jobs, for example, be it engineers as in IT or as in medical fields. Weapons, tools, fire, heat, injuries, accidents, and cuts are also represented. Blood and muscles is what other significations of Mars. Next one is Buddha, or Mercury, ruler of Gemini and Virgo. Buddha is related to intelligence and intellect, communication, speech, learning, education, our ability to deliver information, to communicate our needs, to write, to speak, to write, to be heard. Logic, reasoning, analysis, a very mental planet, right? It's all Gemini and Virgos, as you know, are very mental planets. Youthfulness, wit, the people who have strong Mercury, they're really good with using their words, and they're very good at making jokes and using language in a very special way. Like they can really understand how the sounds work and how you can put few words together, and it's kind of a special gift of theirs. Mercury is friends, social interactions. It's a planet where we communicate with others, we socialize with them. It's also related, because it's a logical planet, related to logic. It also represents mathematics, numbers, astrology and sciences, dexterity and skills with hands, technology, media. And in medical astrology, in the body, Mercury represents skin, nerves, and respiratory system, also nervous system, lungs. Guru is Jupiter, is a ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces. So Jupiter represents wisdom, knowledge, philosophy. It's the planet of the teachers, mentors, and spiritual guides. It also represents our experience with children, our ability to be generous. It's a planet of wealth, prosperity, and abundance. So Jupiter also represents our religious, moral values, generosity, kindness, optimism, hope, faith, ability to see the glass full, ability to see the picture as a whole, religion, rituals, belief system, fortune, and blessings. Fat, liver in the body. In medical astrology, it's fat and liver. Growth, expansion, and opportunity. It also represents husband in woman's chart. So Jupiter is a big planet. It's called a heavy planet, and it has the expansive quality. It tends to expand the area of life where it is positioned in the chart. Because it's one of the most benefic planets, one of the planets that brings the most opportunities and abundance, the place where it's positioned in the chart becomes a place of opportunities as well. So this is one of the planets we look at when we try to understand a person's relationship with wealth and abundance in general, and how it will manifest in their lives. Next in line is Shukra, or Venus. Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Libra. Venus is a planet of love, affection, romance, relationships, our experience in relationships, our experience in love, our ability to give and receive love freely and to experience enjoyment in life. It's a planet of joy, of pleasure, of sex, of art and beauty, of music, aesthetics. Everything that's beautiful and creative and pleasing to us would be under rulership of Venus. So it's marriage, marital happiness, beauty, art and aesthetics, as I mentioned, luxury, wealth and material pleasures. So if Jupiter is the significator of abundance, this is a planet of luxuries. Venus represents in general women and feminine energy, sexuality, sensual pleasures, vehicles, ornaments and jewelry. So Venus represents cars in chart. Also it represents our experience of vehicles, what type of car we're going to drive, what type of car we are going to, when we are going to buy a car, because that's when might be shown by the period of Venus. Our comforts, leisure and relaxation in life, where we derive pleasure, where do we derive joy, what brings us joy will be shown by Venus. It's a planet that's prominent in the charts of artists, of people who dealing with creativity, with music and art, diplomacy and charm, poetry, literature, artistic self-expression. Artists, actors, musicians all have that prominent. In the physical body, it represents reproductive organs and our fertility, sugar, sweets, and bodily fluids. Wife in a man's chart. So Venus is the planet that represents a wife in a man's chart, and also his experience with women in general. Shani, Saturn, is the ruler of Capricorn and Aquarius. So Saturn is the slowest moving planet. It is the significator of discipline and structure. It rules time and longevity and everything that's related to karma, hard work, labor, perseverance. Restrictions, delays, and challenges are also associated with Saturn. Karma, challenging life lessons, old age, maturity, patience, responsibility, duty, detachment, isolation, solitude, depression, melancholy, diseases, poverty, austerity, loneliness, and sorrow are associated with these planets as well. Chronic diseases, bones, joints, and teeth are what Saturn governs in the physical body. It also represents land, minerals, and agriculture in general, servants, workers, and labor class. I think we've covered most of them. So Saturn is one of the malefic planets, and I will explain a little more what that means later, but it is one of the challenging planets. And the place where Saturn is positioned in the chart becomes like a place of where you going to have to exert a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, a lot of patience, because things will not be coming easily. Things will be might be delayed and might be a source of obstacles and challenges in life. But at the same time, understanding the nature of Saturn, which is hard work and patience, will help you to overcome things related to the challenges that are related to specific house where Saturn is positioned. And also a lot depends on the quality of your Saturn. If you have a strong Saturn, for example, and in the next lecture we will talk about how to judge where in which signs the planet is strong or weak. But if you have a strong Saturn, some of the qualities that are associated with this planet will be natural to you. So you will be naturally very patient, for example. You will be naturally extremely responsible, always on time, always completing what you promised to complete, always doing things the way they're supposed to be. And so the challenging Saturn will give some challenges in regards to those things that are listed here. So north node of the moon, or Rahu, it represents our ambitious energy, desires, and materialism. Now Rahu is an interesting planet because it kind of creates shows the place in the chart where we have a lot of illusions and a lot of kind of false ideas, I would say, from the beginning. So throughout our lives, we tend to untangle and to learn how things really are by default. Because this planet is shadow, the actual significations of the house that where this planet was located in your chart will be kind of like shadowed. They will be might be a source of a lot of kind of obsessions or addictions or compulsions. It is planet of deception, trickery, illusions, foreignness, foreign lands. It also relates to all of the things that are different from us, from different culture, different cultural background, things that are super new and new, like artificial intelligence, for example, right? If we talk about technology and media and social networks, like they're all represented by energy of planet Rahu. Rahu governs mystery, shadow, hidden aspects of life, sudden unexpected events, science, research, esoteric knowledge. It's also astrology, mystical knowledge, occult knowledge is also related to this planet. Politics, power, and manipulation is part of it as well. Poisons and toxins like plastics and all of these type of things, toxic things that are related to Rahu, that kind of man-made materials essentially are related to Rahu. It also sometimes can signify spiritual awakening through worldly experience. It can be a source of a lot of agitation and anxiety, and it's a place where kind of that you tend to lose your ojas, so to say, lose your energy, because you tend to obsess about this area of life and tend to be sort of constantly dissatisfied with the state of things there. So it helps to know, and reading your chart brings in a lot of awareness to that area of life and recognition that this is how it's experienced. So you can do actually and do something about it and actually deal with it with detachment. So Ketu is the south node of the moon, and it's the last planet, and it is a significator of spirituality and detachment. It's completely opposite energy from Rahu. Rahu and Ketu, they used to be one demon that wanted the nectar of immortality at all costs, but because being a demon, he was so he used maybe not very allowed ways of getting this nectar of immortality, so he pretended to be a god and sat among the gods when the Amrita was distributed. So the Vishnu, Sun and Moon, noticed that it was a demon. They pointed to the Svarbhanu and gave him away to the Vishnu. Vishnu cut the demon in half, and the upper half became, or the head of the demon became Rahu, and the lower part of the demon became Ketu. So they are one part, they are two polarities of the same, but they are completely opposite. As you can see in the birth chart, you will see that Rahu and Ketu are always in the opposite houses. So this is going to be your inner conflict in life. It's going to be a place of your inner turmoil, because Rahu will be pulling in one direction and Ketu will be pulling in completely opposite. And kind of working with these two polarities, working in uniting Rahu and Ketu is one of the goals in life, I would say. So Ketu is the opposite of Rahu, and it represents spirituality, detachment, mysticism, enlightenment. It's the planet of letting go, of loss, renunciation, disillusionment. So if Rahu is all about Maya and illusion, Ketu is all about detachment. It's a past life karma. Ketu shows our past life experiences, ancestral influences. It's also liberation or moksha karaka, or shows our liberation, transcendence. Sudden unexpected losses sometimes can be signified by Ketu, because Ketu tries to get rid of material attachments as much as possible. And sometimes when Ketu period comes, or when we have Ketu influence in a certain area of life, this is the area of life where you're going to have to experience a lot of letting go and detachment. It's related to esoteric knowledge, occult knowledge, renunciation of worldly pleasures, astronomy, astrology, and metaphysics. Ketu is the planet of astrologers, and studying astrology is actually one of the remedial measures for Ketu. So because you are in this course, you are already working on propitiating Ketu and kind of making Ketu experience better in your life. Psychic abilities related to Ketu, intuition, highly intuitive planet, especially if it influences your moon, for example, if it's like conjuncting your moon or influences some other key points in your chart. Ketu can be related to accidents, disorders, diseases of unknown origins. Sometimes hard to diagnose problems can be related to Ketu. Endings and completions. So the last slide I have on this presentation is the benefic and malefic planets. So all of the planets can be divided by its nature into malefic and benefic. Malefic planets are Sun, Saturn, Mars, Rahu, and Ketu. And benefic planets are Venus, Jupiter, Moon, and Mercury. And so what it means is that benefic planets really represent good experiences, usually the experience that we look forward to, such as joy, expansion, and contentment and peace of mind, right? That is all the Venus, Jupiter, and Moon significations. Planets where at houses where the benefic planets are placed are going to prosper for that reason, because they have the benefic influence of these planets. Now, malefic planets usually represent challenging aspects of our lives, such as, maybe assertiveness, anger for Mars and Saturn, obstacles and pressures. Sun is maybe excessive ego, excessive desire for ambitious desires to achieve something. Rahu and Ketu, we just talked about how they can manifest as well. So they could be the areas of life where these malefic planets are placed in those houses could be a little bit challenged. Now, as we are going to touch upon later, some houses, like in Upachaya houses, for example, which I will remind you, 3, 6, 10, and 11, these are the houses where malefic planets work really well, because these are the houses where we need to exercise more malefic qualities, such as 6th house, which is a competition house. And if you put Mars there, it actually feels really, really good. So it helps to understand the general idea of malefic and benefic planets, but I wouldn't get too attached to black and white judgment that this is definitely good or this is definitely bad, because in certain areas of life we do need a malefic influence in order to succeed, in order to be competitive and assertive and achieve something, and in certain areas of life we need to be more soft, more exercising our more kind of benefic side of the planets. So this is the last slide, and the next one we are going to talk about planets in signs. So we are completing the introduction section of the different different aspects of birth chart, which is signs, houses, and planets. And we are beginning in the next class, we are going to begin doing the first steps in trying to interpret how each planet behaves in specific sign. I'll see you then.